Alright, I am continuing in Saints Row the Third Remastered, but not for the gameplay. This is the graphics quality analysis. Alright. And I'm going to start by pulling out my tank. Now this is actually the second time I've done this video. While doing some more, I figured one thing out and I figured, you know what, I'll just re-record it. Plus, since I already have all the notes, maybe it'll also end up being shorter. Maybe. So this is at what currently equates to the high preset, although normally these are both turned on. I'm not going to touch film grain. I feel that should be more a personal choice thing. Motion blur I am going to turn on because there is something weird to it that I noticed. And the tank actually helps show it. Oh, I almost forgot. The key was provided by Tinsley PR for Deep Silver, publisher, and Sperasoft, the developer for the remaster. Volition did the original game, though. Alright, but yeah, it has to be on custom because I can't use the high preset. I need to use custom preset because high preset forces VSync on, and it also locks you out of changing these, so you have to go to custom anyway to make any changes. But this is what it is. So yeah, actually, I'll just start off with the motion blur thing. But you know what? Let me actually do this. Well, alright. I'll first show you why it is. Now, true, I am biased against motion blur. I don't like motion blur in basically any game. It is always one of the things I will turn off. In this game, there's something I noticed when I had it on that annoyed me. So if you look at the Saint symbol on the hatch for the tank, so that hatch currently right behind me. If you look at it while the turret moves, it kind of jitters, which I don't like. I mean, yeah, I can see the blurring to like the emu there when I move left and right. That's fine. It's like that's just a blur. I expect that. Or how the vehicles over there are moving. There's blur. I expect that. That's fine. But the fact that it doesn't look so much like a blur, it looks more like a jitter to me on that thing turning, that bothers me. Now, it might not be at all related to the motion blur. That could be something like the movement of the turret. Of the turret isn't smooth, which it seems to be very reactive to the mouse, so it could be tied to that as well. But it's still, that jittering, I'm not comfortable with. But it also occurred to me I should try turning off a TAA, because it does have ghosting issues. So let's... I still see some jittering. In fact, I also even see the edge of it. That definitely bounces some. So yeah, it's... I'm not an aficionado or connoisseur of motion blur. I generally don't like it, so... it's... Maybe that looks fine for motion blur for people who do enjoy it. I am not one of them. I would not accept that. So, yeah. But now we can look just at the anti-aliasing situation, which is... There's aliasing. There's a lot of aliasing, and that light pole would not move like that. But yeah, there's a lot of aliasing here, and it is quite bad. Now, there might be some people that would accept this. I would not be among them. So, naturally then, turn on one of the two modes, Fxaa or TAA. Well, the problem here is enough of it is actually temporal. There's enough temporal aliasing involved. I mean, just look at the structure there that's holding up the signs, or on the wire there, the grills of the car. I mean, there is so much that, I mean, true, the grill of the car is actually more, so that is spatial, but enough of this with the movement, you see it, Fxaa, it lacks temporal stability. It can't maintain anti-aliasing from one frame to the next with movement, necessarily. In some cases it may happen, but no, not in all. Not in all situations. So TA would be the superior of the two for that. And indeed, there's a lot less aliasing. It does a very good job of that. It does soften the image though, and let's see if I can catch it this way. I was actually noticing it. in something before, and it is in the review playthrough. I don't want to move the tank. I want the tank to stay where it is. What I've noticed is when you get a vehicle moving, yeah, I can see it there. You can see ghosting with TA, and it is. I did experiment with turning the TA off and back on, and I lost the tank. Oh, that's annoying. It is the TAA specifically adding the ghosting, which is very unfortunate. It basically means that this is not a good implementation of TAA. Yeah, it's there are good implementations out there. This is sadly not among them. But it still is the aliasing is so bad without anything that I kind of feel like you need to have it on anyway. Now, there's a question, okay, what happens with the sharpening? Because some things, some forms of sharpening are even promoted as this is something that can be used to undo the softness that a method like TAA it will put in. I'm just going to turn it up all the way, which I actually hadn't done before. I went a little bit and was able to make my conclusion. And that is, right now, yeah, this is sharp. It's actually over sharp in some spots. Like if you look at the sign, there's some detail in there that I don't think should be there. But what I was seeing at like 50. Wow, I'm actually not noticing so much now. Yeah, let me move forward some. Maybe it just needs to be turned up a lot, but earlier what I was seeing when I did this, like when I had down at 50 and lower, I did try lower, it would be sharp when still like this, but once I started moving, I could see things softening again. So there would be a change in sharpness just from the movement, and it's like I wouldn't want that. I mean, I can see at least a little bit of blurring, a little bit of ghosting on the vehicles over there as they're moving, which is kind of problematic. But yeah, so that is funny. It seemed. Okay, so like there, moving forward and back, looking at the van there. When moving, it is softer. It is very visibly softer to me. But yeah, let's actually see what that is at 100. Same thing. It's not as bad, I will admit, but it still is. The original thing that I noticed is what I'm gonna stay with, which is that it's not worth turning on the sharpening because, yes, you do address some softness to the image, but it's only when you're still, when you're moving, you still see the softness, so it kind of doesn't help any. It's weird. It's like sharpening doesn't actually work in all temporal situations, so it can't really counter temporal anti-aliasing. Okay, so next we have the filter mode, which is trilinear, then 2x, 4x, 8x, and 16x, and isotropic filtering. I will always recommend going to 16x, unless you have a situation where legitimately a GPU is so underpowered, it can't handle it. I will basically always say, turn it up to 16x. It acts as an upper limit. So the GPU gets to decide then what filtering level to actually use. That, and I just personally, because of that also means you can have games where it's like, yeah, most of the time it won't go past 4x, occasionally 8x, and rarely 16x. It'll depend on the game. But whenever I've looked at it, it has been a while since I've looked at performance impact of anisotropic filtering, I will admit that. But when I had, it would be like 2 FPS. So, not that much. 2 FPS when you're already in the 50s or 60s. It's really not that much. So yes, higher is better, but slower, I've never really seen the slower be that significant. It's possible, though, that I just haven't looked at it closely enough or looked at it recently enough. So yeah, but in general, I'd go that high. So let's start stepping through it some. And fortunately, this is actually a very good place for it. So we have the bridge over there, the highway bridge. There's right here. I know you can see the cursor. Just checking, because yeah, I'm in a window, so I can see the edge of OBS. But right here, there's a crosswalk, and also here, there's a crosswalk. Here, and the bridge are all spots that you can see the impact of anisotropic filtering. Right now, it's trilinear, so all three spots actually look pretty soft. In fact, on the bridge, it kind of looks like there's just a solid line, maybe some dashes in there, but very, very soft. And even this right here, even this crosswalk near me is soft. I want to try to just turn the tank a little bit more, have it a bit better aligned. Okay. Now, once we go up to even just 2x, it's going to help. Yeah, this crosswalk is a bit sharper. The dashes to the stripes to the lines on the road up there are now much clearer. The crosswalk there, maybe not so much. Well, no, it was, because I think earlier it was much more blurred together, whereas now you can see there are distinctions like we have here. But what I would go with as the minimum, it's actually 4x. Because here, both crosswalks are looking very good. The stripes on the street up there is looking very good. But 8x would be better. 16x is also better. I also did notice, though, that when I was driving, when collecting data, yes, on the GTX 770, because I need to turn some things down, that at the more extreme angles, so like the one right up here, 4x I was seeing not being as good as I would like it to be. I just want to see, not seeing a difference there with 8x. I was also in a car, but the camera was a bit lower than this tank. That's interesting. So it looks like at this distance, that's just going to be a line regardless. It's not going to be stripes. Alright, but yeah, so the minimum is 4x, but I would definitely go to 16x if you can. Alright, there. Scene detail, I could not figure out what it was actually doing. I really couldn't. I can try again. Let me actually... Well, no, I tried that. I don't know. And scene detail is so ambiguous, because it could be like texture detail. I am noticing that there's some waviness in the turret. The other opening on the top of the... Well, the second opening where the second player would be on the top of the turret, I am noticing waviness there. I'm not sure why. It might be that it's supposed to be a heat distortion effect and it's just being a little weird there. But I am also noticing some weirdness over there too, in other reflection areas. But it's like, even at low, this still looks fine. If I turn this up to high, I don't really see a difference. Maybe it is there and I'm just not seeing it. I don't know. Without knowing more specifically what it does, though, it's hard to tell. Well, okay, I guess there is something that I can see. So on the van here, look at its hood. So this is at low. At high, we can see the vents on the hood much better. So, okay. See, it was a good thing I decided to redo this, because I'm spotting things now. Medium is visibly better than low. I can't see if it is better than... if high is noticeably better. But okay. Okay, I'm gonna go with low for the minimum, because Is there a difference? Yeah. Am I gonna care about that difference 9 times out of 10? No. Finally spotted a difference that I consider minor. By the way, at some point I may have to mute the mic because I feel sneeze coming on. I consider minor, so low is the minimum. I'm gonna make high the maximum. Even though I can't necessarily say there is a difference. The maximum, because while I cannot see the difference from medium, though medium is better than low, I do not want to. Well, it's kind of because of the whole scene detail is so ambivalent, abstract. I mean, I'm trying to think of what the best word would be. It's unclear. It's unspecific. I don't know what it is that we're referring to. In totality. There. Well, here, let me... Well, here, which one am I at? I can do something that I did do earlier. There. There. Which is, I take a screenshot using print screen, stick it into GIMP as one layer, change. Another image. And stick it on there. Alright, a lot of the changes I'm seeing are actually... Oh, wait a minute, that's... I did not notice that at all. That's actually a very visible change. Let me just... let me get a better look at it. Huh. I straight up did not notice that before. Please don't go away, Tank. Okay, okay. Alright, then good. I can say that it's... that high is different. It's still a limited difference, but it is a difference. So over here, where I'm moving the cursor, there's grass. On high there isn't, it's just empty on medium. So right over there, that grass isn't there on medium. Neither is the grass over here. But I wasn't seeing much else. Yeah, let me just... There. I just hit difference, so it's doing the whole subtraction. Well, finding the difference between pixels. Some stuff, though, I can't trust because the lighting may have just changed. It's actually funny the grass doesn't show up that much here. Even though it is clearly the case. Okay then. Yeah. Medium looks better than low, and high looks better than medium. With high we get more foliage appearing at a greater distance. So it does seem to have some amount of LOD impact. Alright, hopefully I won't need GIMP anymore, but I'll leave it open. Okay, there. The shadow detail is actually pretty easy, fortunately. Hopefully I'm just in a good spot to show it, though. Nope, let me back up. What are you doing, lady? Maybe this one will... Yeah, this one's good. This one's good. I just want to, like, get the tank better aligned in here. Okay. So, you can clearly see in front of the barrel of the turret that there is jaggedness. There's aliasing to the shadow of the wires there. That's because it's at a fairly low resolution. The shadow map is a fairly low resolution. Going to medium, it's better. It is better. It is not perfect, though. This one actually doesn't show it as nicely. Earlier I was able to clearly see... It wasn't big, but still clearly see medium and high being different. Oh, well, you can clearly see that this is much sharper, but we don't have the aliasing problem with medium either. But it still is low. The shadows are there on low. It's not like they're being removed, so I would go with low. I am going with low as the medium. Sorry, low is the minimum. High is the maximum, though, because these shadows are clearly better, are clearly sharper. Move forward some because I won't need that anymore, and having a view of the cars is helpful. I need to set that back there. Screen space reflections. So this is actually kind of tricky. So with this off, the puddles and also reflections on the vehicles are much more absent. Not completely, though. You can see, like there, you can make out the roof of a building over there. So we do have, like, and it even explains in there, the permanent fixtures of the map, like these buildings, are reflected. But dynamic objects, such as fire, I don't want to actually shoot anything and actually have it burn. Like shooting a car so it's burning. Those will not be reflected. But if I'm just... Let me actually get out. If I turn it on, we will see in the description is accurate. Dynamic objects will then be reflected. Although ironically, you are not a dynamic object. I would not see my own reflection. But I did notice some issues. So, and you can kind of see it right there. That puddle is supposed to be reflecting the car here, but it's actually a fairly noisy reflection. You can also see it over here, the reflection of that car. Yeah, don't go away, tank. Just trying to think, technically those should also be considered dynamic objects. I just don't know if I'd have a good reflection anyway for them. So it does have an impact, but at this angle we can also see the signs in there, which will probably disappear because I think I can destroy them. Yep, because I can do that. Okay, maybe not. Maybe those are not actually. Well, they should be. Well, not necessarily at high detail. But yeah, so yes is the maximum, no is the minimum. Now, ambient occlusion, this one actually took me a little bit, and I needed to use GIMP to figure out what its impact is, because its impact is kind of degrees, although right now it's actually, maybe because of how overcast it is with the rain, is very helpful. So, like here, all we have are the just normal shadows, and oh wow, look at that. Oh yeah, this is perfect. This rain is absolutely perfect for the reflections. So we can see, like, the whole of those cars are there. I did not have this earlier, so this is perfect. Very, very much worth doing this over. What the hell? That's not right. There's no way screen space reflections should have done that. I have a feeling that was just a weird bug I ran into or something. But as you can see, with screen space reflections off, we no longer have the vehicles reflected in the just water that's fresh on the ground because of the raining. And I just want to... Yeah, it was just a random thing. The lighting got screwy. I'm going to turn the reflections back on. So yeah, I'm the fact that basically there was no longer light had to have been like a weird glitch. Still is a weird glitch. Okay, so right now, with ambient occlusion off, you know, there is a shadow here for this car. It's hard to see, but it is there. It's very light. When I turn on ambient occlusion, though, even at low, you can see it now has some shape, you know, a shadow just from being there. So do the other vehicles, but the reflections are kind of in the way. But it's also the turret. The turret of the tank on the body of the tank has a shadow. So it looks like ambient occlusion outside of the tank, basically, it enhances in some ways the shadow. True, with the rain and how that was impacting the light, it actually... the difference was a lot greater than I saw earlier. So low is actually even more reason. There's actually more reason to have it on, have low as the minimum. Well, to have it turned on. Let me actually check. What did I settle on for? I might have had off as the minimum because you can't get away without it. Yeah. Because it covers a lot, but go to low if you can. But it's in the shadow of the turret on the tank body. That's only ambient occlusion. So that sort of self-shadow effect is dependent on ambient occlusion. Okay. And I have it as high over medium because ambient occlusion does have a definite impact. And I did spot a difference. I just don't remember just now what it was. Unfortunately, I also did not describe it in my notes. It may have been subtle, though. I only did this a few hours ago. Well, more than a few hours ago. About half a waking day ago. Oh, I remember what it is now. I remember what the difference was. Okay. See the structure up here? Currently, it is not casting a shadow on the back of those signs because I'm on medium. Once I go to high, it is. So at high, we are getting... I did none of that. I didn't do any of that. But once we're on high, though, we are getting those shadows there, so that actually is an impact. That it's, you know, completely, the shadows are only existent at high. So there is clearly a difference between medium and high, making high the deserving maximum. Film grain, I think, is a personal choice. Gonna skip it. Motion blur, already covered. Depth of field. So this one I could not figure out before. I just could not figure it out because it's like, right now, look at it. And you don't really notice anything. It's like here, looking down this way, you'd expect some sort of depth of field impact. But I go here, turn it up to high even. Nothing. Doesn't look any different. Well, this is how I eventually figured it out. It's depth of field when you're zooming in to aim.
Good fight!
I don't want the car to be an issue. But yeah, so that's what it controls. So, knowing that, I would actually... My preference would be depth of field off. So, let's start taking a better look, because I didn't do it earlier. Between low, medium, and high here. Well, let me also stop being shot at. I really shouldn't have shot the person.
I love getting FaceTime with my constituents.
So what we should expect is that the quality of the blur will get better or worse. It's going to be hard to tell though because it's such a dynamic effect, you have to be zoomed in for it to even be present. You know what? No, I can... Yeah, the blurring is definitely better at high than at low. Actually, it looks like at low it's using fewer samples, if I'm honest, for the filtering of the blur. I say that because, like right now, if you look at the that bar holding up the signals, I can see some aliasing in there, but I couldn't see it on high. So, and that would make sense to me as a way to have it be different is to change the sampling frequency of it. As a way to improve performance at the low end and improve quality at the higher end. And you can still kind of see some aliasing with it. It's not as bad though. And all the way up to high. Yeah, and that does look better. It's marginally better than medium, but I do think it looks a little bit better. I will say this, it is nice how it's reactive. Nicely reactive to where you're looking. Perhaps a little too precise though. Yeah, so okay, now I can put in notes on that. Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna change out the notes that I made for depth of field. So off is minimum because DOF is something I feel is personal choice to begin with. It only appears to impact when zooming in with a weapon. That would also include like when you are on a turret of a vehicle. But because I'm playing alone, I can't force myself to be that without starting a mission. I don't want to do that at the moment. Yeah. Then high for the maximum. High is the maximum as it appears the samples used for the blur filter are greater than at low and medium. Basically, I can see aliasing within the blur at low, and medium is better, I feel high is still, well, high is best. So that's my note on that. Alright, next we have volumetric fog, and for that, yeah. I'll just, hopefully, yes I do, okay. I'll show you what volumetric fog does. Unfortunately, I couldn't tell you what the difference is between the different levels, low, medium, and high, but it is very obvious what volumetric fog does. Because there is an off, and, well, I mean, I'm about to show you. Oh, come on! What idiots. These AI will be. No. I think I can do this.
Startup sequence initiated.
Alright. Elevation helps. This is why why I grabbed the VTOL. Which should be stalling, but they don't have proper flight dynamics in this. Okay, so this would be volumetric fog that we're seeing. Now the fog is on the city, and honestly, I like how this looks. I do think this is a nice visual effect, and we can see the shading in the fog of the towers. I mean, it looks nice, right? Well, that's what volumetric fog is doing. And when you turn it off, suddenly the whole of the city is visible, but it also looks pretty bad at a distance. Yeah. I mean, true, some of these buildings like that one there, that one, look good at this distance. They were probably designed to be, but, you know, look at that one. Look at those. They look very crude. I think it makes a lot of sense then that low actually has, the low preset has this set to low. It doesn't, it's still enabled. It doesn't have it set to off. Even though this very possibly, because this is such a dramatic difference, it's possible that this is actually much better performance for some GPUs, at least. But I mean, there's a part of me that's like, you know, I would want to play this way in that, hey, I can see the entire map, and indeed, I mean, it's you can see it all. I mean, even all the way over there, across the map, for me, you can make out the buildings and the streets. I mean, that's really, really good. But it looks, I mean, even right here, look at that. That building looks very flat. It looks crude, and that's very unfortunate. So, yeah, basically, I would not want this off at all, so low is the minimum. Unfortunately, I can't tell you what difference it may make at medium and high, but I guess it would most likely be something in like how it looks right there. With the buildings blocking. I'm going to try to come closer to them, but at more of an angle to them. Hopefully be able to see the impact, that kind of impact that was just crossing the screen. I'm also seeing contouring issues, which is unfortunate. And that well, I don't know for sure, but that very possibly is surviving the... I'm having to move some windows around just to... I think that is surviving the video. Yeah, it's also the OBS preview is downscaled a lot, so it's harder to tell, but I do think that's going to survive, sadly. Contouring would be, you know, there's a line right here and another one up there, and so on. It's just you don't have a smooth gradient. And now that it's raining, I'm not going to be able to see the difference. Sorry, I just thought that would be kind of fun for me to just do. You know, basically follow the rain so it's stable. Actually, how does it look? I didn't have rain earlier when I was messing around with this. It just looks like it's raining on this. It's yeah. The lack of volumetric fog is obvious, and I'm serious. I would even say it shouldn't be an option of off. It shouldn't have that. It should be low, medium, high. But it's also I can't tell you what the difference is between low, medium, and high. So, and I just want to look. Yeah, I just have do not turn this off as the note for it, and nothing for the maximum. I mean, I can't see it. I'm not gonna say there isn't a difference. There might be, and I just don't know where to look to find it. It didn't seem like it was the contouring. Like if I turn this up, that suddenly the contouring is gonna be gone. No. Although, well, no, that wouldn't make sense. It shouldn't be up there. The clouds, that wouldn't make sense. But, yeah. So, low, off, low, off, low, low. Is that it? I want to make sure that this is what I put together for the minimum. Low, no. Off. Oh, no, yeah. Off. Well, technically nothing for film grain. Motion blur, no. Depth of field, off. Yeah, so it's all lows, basically. Isotropic 4x, that's what I have for the minimum. For the maximum, 8x, 4x, high, yes. High, that being off. I was seeing it there. I can't tell you that there's one for volumetric fog. So, I mean, on the bright side, that does mean that all these settings, with the exception of volumetric fog, high is the appropriate maximum. Scene detail, though, it is hard to see. Shadow was easy to see, though. Ambient occlusion was... It's present. It's just how big a deal is it? Not necessarily that big a deal. So yeah. That's what I got. So hopefully, I haven't gotten around to writing this stuff up yet. I've been collecting data, which has been looking good, by the way. Even I did have to turn things down quite a bit for the 770, but that turned down, it still looked okay, and performed with means above 60. So that was good. Basically, the low preset was decent. The medium preset probably playable, but the mean was 54 FPS, and it's like I'm not trusting that's staying stable around that. So I want to turn it down further. But everything else has been doing very well. The 980, 1070, 1080. I haven't looked at the 2060 yet. Well, I haven't looked at the 1080 yet either, but the 1070, the 980 and up has been good. The 580 and up has been good. The RX 580 I have in the desktop right now, so it's... The 770 is the only outlier of this, where it's like, oh, I had to turn things down. Which is pretty good to be able to say. Pretty good to say that. Alright, so I shall hit stop, and hey, this was a full half hour shorter than the other one. Isn't that nice? Maybe I'll do it this way in the future, where I build out the list and then I do the video instead of the video while doing it. Even though it does mean you don't get my live commentary for it, it lets it be shorter. Anyhow, see you next time.